WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Indy Soft Water, installing water softeners and reverse osmosis systems for homeowners and businesses in central Indiana for over 25 years. The softest, cleanest water begins with Indy Soft Water. More at indysoftwater.com.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Visit Bloomington, Indiana, where Hoagie Carmichael, Booker T. Jones, and John Mellencamp impacted the city and helped it become a music destination. Bloomington is home to a variety of musical artists, live music venues, and hundreds of annual music events. More information at musicbloomington.com. This is Small Studio Signal Boost from WFYI. I'm Melissa Davis, your host tonight, along with co-host Adam Gross. Tonight we'll listen back to our very first small studio session as we continue to celebrate 10 years of the series. Listen in for the 2015 session from Indiana-based the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Adam talks with the founder of Goshen, Indiana's Float Fest. We'll hear about the origins of the water sports-themed music festival, along with music from some of the bands playing this year. Stay with us for an hour of new music from Indiana-based artists, here on Small Studio Signal Boost. First, I have a song from Central Indiana-based singer-songwriter and Small Studio Sessions alum Kara Cole. This is Cole's latest single called Back to the Bottom with Kara's full band, and this alt-country flavored single was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's listen here on Small Studio Signal Boost. That was Central Indiana-based Kara Cole with her latest single, Back to the Bottom. You're tuned to Small Studio Signal Boost from WFYI. I'm Melissa Davis with Adam Gross. Coming up, we'll hear a conversation with the founder of the Goshen Music Festival, Float Fest. But first, Adam, what's happening in the world of Indiana music this week?
Well, I have discovered some new music from Dead Silence, who I really like. He's had a busy spring this year, released 2 EPs, The Uplift and The Uplift Part 2. I'm going to play one track from each of those EPs. Up first is Old School featuring Lay Low, followed by Link featuring Kindle. And Kindle is a Small Studio Sessions alum as well, who used to perform under the name American. This is Dead Silence on Small Studio Signal Boost.
Old school, I told you I'm gon' keep it so cool, like I know you. Hey, I hit you up and you know that I'm on my way. You know I'm busy, I got you all I can say.
That was Dead Silence with Link featuring Kindle. You're tuned to Small Studio Signal Boost. I'm Adam Gross. We're listening to music from Indiana-based artists. Melissa, you have another track before we take a quick break?
Yeah, I have one more tonight. So this is indie-based supergroup Bless, which is now signed to the national and indie-based label Joyful Noise Recordings. Coming home.
Yeah, and they're also a Small Studio Sessions alum.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of alums in this segment.
A lot of Sessions alums for sure. This is the latest from Bless, and their song is called Heart of Stone on Small Studio Signal Boost.
I put the bottom in its ambiance. Henry David Thoreau, I dip my toes in the Walden Pond. Writing letters in my confidence. I feel the isolation.
You're tuned to Small Studio Signal Boost. You can find some of the music featured tonight by following our playlists. Just search for WFYI Music on Spotify. I'm Melissa Davis with Adam Gross. And Adam, you have a conversation with a musician from the northern part of our state.
Yeah, he's a musician and festival organizer.
Oh, cool.
Scott Lehman founded Float Fest, which takes place in Goshen, which, Melissa, we are from Elkhart County.
We're from Elkhart.
Goshen is in Elkhart County.
Right down the street.
Yeah, it's always great to see good things going on up there. Mm-hmm. This is a super cool festival. I know we were talking recently on the show about seeing concerts from the water at Eagle Creek Park.
Yeah.
Well, this is a whole festival where you can see concerts from the water.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes place throughout a day. Boats, kayaks, canoes. The people float down the canal, and then there's bands placed along at a stop. You can also walk and see it.
Wow.
Apparently, it's gotten very big, so it was exciting to talk to Scott and hear about the origins of the festival and what to expect this year. Scott, thanks for coming on the show today.
Appreciate it.
So you are the founder of Float Fest Goshen, which is a super exciting festival happening soon. Can you just tell us a little bit about what Float Fest is? I think it's pretty unique. I've never heard of a thing like this before.
Yeah, absolutely. So it started, this is going to be the fifth one, the fourth moving. Basically, I was trying to throw house shows at the end of COVID or in the middle of it and realized that my house was too small, my backyard was too small, but I live on a canal. And it is a pretty slow moving body of water. And I was like, I could put people on that. And then eventually it became what it is today. It's 9 locations, 8 bands, and an opener. And it's a bunch of my friends who have houses along the canal, as well as we take a pontoon and float it in the middle at the end, put a big old battery and a band on that. And the last band plays off a boat. So it's a moving festival. So what happens is you can either walk along the conveniently located mill race path that's right next to the canal, or you can boat, paddle. There's stock tanks, giant peacock floaties, tubes, everything you can imagine that comes with that. But you just paddle those up to the top of the mill race, and then you float downstream as the day goes on and watch all the bands.
So the bands play like progressively at different times throughout the day down the canal.
Yeah, so the very first artist starts from, I have a wooden boat, and they play from my boat, with a PA on there. And then there's 7 backyards and a boat. So each one is like staggered as you go. So each band plays for about 40 minutes.
And do people watch it from the water, or do they get out and come into the backyards?
It's kind of fun because there's like 3 independent scenes going on. There's the mill race path, which has a few hundred people on it, and people are walking in and out. The stroller crowd, with the kids, comes a little bit earlier. And then as the day goes on, the music changes a little bit. Different people come out and come in. Then there's also boats the entire day, just continuously coming. It reaches about 5:36, and then we're pretty strong through 9 o'clock, and then it tapers off a little bit at the end as people get tired of being on a boat for 8 hours. Yeah. Most backyards have their own party, so there's like anywhere from 15 to 100 people in a backyard. A lot of the times they'll join the crowd once they're done and they got boats ready, or they'll hop on the path or whatever. So it's constantly changing. This year we have like a food truck village and like merch area in the park where 4 of the stops are. So that's the first time where we're going to have that dynamic too. So we're going to get people in and out of the water. There's a bunch of like a coffee truck and food trucks and different beverage options available. So it's just like, it's going to be a little bit different. We'll see. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be a huge changing, evolving thing the entire time.
That's amazing. So I grew up in that area. I'm from Elkhart, which is Goshen's in Elkhart County. I feel like when I lived up there was obviously a music scene. We were kind of chatting before. We both played in bands back in college days. I feel like it's grown. And when I go back up there now, I feel like there's more things going on in Goshen in particular, music-wise. Could you talk just a little bit about the growth and evolution of the Goshen music scene, or what it's like right now?
Yeah, it's definitely ebbed and flowed a lot. I feel like it was a lot more DIY when we were younger, but that might have just been what I was into at that point. Mm-hmm. I know that the Goshen community as a whole really, really celebrates and, lifts up its music artists in general, creatives in general. I couldn't throw this anywhere else. Like, I had this vision. This is like year 4 of it moving, and it's gone from like 250 people to last year was over 1,000.
Wow.
I'm like trying to slow the growth because I'm like, I don't know what happens when we can't move anymore on the mill race. It's getting close to that. I had to downsize my boat. Can only have it for a couple of stops because I kept hitting everybody else. It's just one of those things where like we have in town now, we have like a regular Wednesday night music series at Goshen Brewing Company, Ignatius Music Garage, host shows. There's a house show scene here. There's a house show festival that I throw almost every year. There's just stuff like that all the time. The college hosts some really good musical artists, like big names. Goshen Theater's bringing in some big names at times. First Fridays does. It's one of those things where the more listeners, the more people that are expected, the more the communities build up around it. I feel like it's just growing exponentially. And I feel like South Bend stepped up to meet that. Elkhart is starting to do a lot of things and continue to do things it's done a long time, like Rhapsody and Jazz Fest and things like that. So I just feel like the whole scene is like just continuing to push itself.
That's amazing. It's great to hear. So speaking of the music scene, you brought a couple songs from artists playing at Float Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. First artist I have to highlight is Steady Sun. They're from South Bend. Longtime friends, longtime guys in the scene. Kyle Carpenter has been playing in bands for years. as well as a bunch of the other members in that band. The song's called So I'm Told. In my opinion, it's like a summer anthem banger. I literally requested them to start their set with it because I just felt like it was the right way to start the whole fest. I try to do a pretty good job of mixing local and regional talent, and national at this point. So we have 4 bands from the area and 4 bands from out of the area. So this is one of the local bands.
There's something coming in the future. Gotta be patient, that's how you learn, so I'm told.
You're tuned to Small Studio Signal Boost. I'm Adam Gross, and I'm talking to Scott Lehman, founder of Float Fest Goshen, and we're listening to some of the acts playing at this year's festival. Who do we have up next?
This artist is called Kufnats and Christina Elise. They're from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I met these guys when I threw the first Homebody House Show festival here in town with my buddy Miles Robertson from South Bend. And he had booked this artist. It's an MC and a harpist, a pretty unique duo. She also sings background vocals and they have backing tracks and stuff, but it's a pretty cool thing to see a rapper and a harpist get down in ways that you've never expected. I've been trying to get them. This is the 3rd year I've requested them. They literally moved a gig to come out because they ended up coming back to Goshen and playing Ignition at one time. So they like the community and they like the festival idea. So I'm excited to have them for the first time.
Let the forward motion continue, often keep going.
That was Philadelphia's Kufnats and Christine Elise. They're playing this year's Float Fest, which is happening in Goshen, Indiana. Who do we have up next?
This is Cabeza de Chivo, and they're a tropical psychedelic cumbia band from Chicago, Illinois.
We've been listening to some of the bands playing at this year's Float Fest happening in Goshen, Indiana. Scott, thanks for joining me. Can you give us the details on the festival? When is it happening? What time does it start? And remind people what they can expect.
Absolutely. So if you want to find all of the information, you go to Linktree/FloatFest Goshen. It happens June 28th, and it happens at Mill Race Park in Goshen, Indiana. It's from 2:30 to 10:30. You can expect 8 bands, food trucks, and about 6 other artists. There'll be people busking. There are people playing from bridges. There are people playing from boats as we move. Yeah, like tin whistle and accordion players and fiddlers playing as you move from space to space. It's just a really unique day. There's a Spotify playlist on the Linktree. There are tickets if you want to go VIP. There's ways to donate. It's also a week long. So we have the fest itself, but we also have an entire week, and you can find all of that on that Linktree as well. But we have kayak races. We paddle a thing here called Loop, where you go from the canal to the river to the canal, and you basically end where you start. But in the middle of it, we eat some pad thai, so we call it paddle thai. We eat at Goshen Brewing Company. Wednesday, we have a show. An artist that played last year with 2 drummers, After Hours. And then Thursday, we have Fish the Race, which is fishing with me while we play fish from my backpack. From 4 to 7, and then we have 7 to 9 Float Fest themed music trivia, Goshen Brewing Company. Friday, Goshen Brewing Company, we have 2024 Float Fest artist Wood Hoops playing, along with Float Fest alum Medellin, who's local, and then Saturday's the fest. Sunday, we have listening party with Charlie Millard, who is playing at my house, and they're releasing their new album. He's going to play some acoustic songs and play a vinyl playthrough at Ignition Music Garage. So there's a ton of stuff happening. If you live in the area, you want to come up, there's more than a couple days worth of things to do with us.
That's amazing. Well, thanks for coming by. Thanks for sharing all of that. And thanks for doing that for your community. That's super cool to see things going around in, my hometown. And I appreciate the people that do it.
Absolutely. It's like my love letter to the town. So it's a good time.
That's awesome. And are you on the canal right now? You're outside and I hear birds.
Yeah. I literally, that's the river right there.
That's great. So that's a little preview of the natural ambience you might hear.
Well, I was trying to figure out where to do it. And I was like, oh, maybe you'll get the little bit of Mill Race energy noise coming through.
I love that. Well, thanks so much again.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you, man. And thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam, for that interview and talking with Scott Lehman, founder of Float Fest in Goshen, Indiana. Coming up, we'll hear our very first small studio session. That's from the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break here on Small Studio Signal Boost.
This is Small Studio Signal Boost. Thanks for listening tonight. You can find the podcast edition of the show most places you get your podcasts or on our website at wfyi.org/podcasts. I'm Adam Gross, joined by Melissa Davis. And Melissa, we are celebrating 10 years of Small Studio Sessions.
Yeah, it's really hard to believe that it's been 10 years, but that is the case.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are. We started the sessions in 2015. After really, it was like the Tiny Desk Contest, which was kind of the origins of small studio sessions. Do you want to hear the story real quick?
I do. I was going to ask you, but since you're offering.
Just go.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so NPR had the Tiny Desk Contest. They started sending the entries from the cities to the member stations in those cities and regions. So we received all of our local entries, and we had like over 65, and they were really good.
Wow.
Yeah, so kind of built a case for showcasing these artists on a local and regional level, and then we had a few national artists as well. The first year of the series was in 2015. It started off with a grant from the Herbert Simon Family Foundation and with support from Sun King Brewing and Nito Art Shop. So it was really good to have that support, and the series has had really nice community and scene support as well. We've had bands like the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band, which was our very first band. We're going to hear from them tonight. Also, Manners Please. Your band, SM Wolf, was in. We had Graham Nash in like the second year of the series, which was amazing. We've had Tank and the Bangas, who are artists who also won the Tiny Desk Contest on the NPR side.
Yeah.
It was great. And, it's been going for 10 years. It's been exciting, but there have also been challenges. I mean, for example, with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We had to move to the big studio.
Well, first we moved to the roof.
That's right. We had to move outside.
Yeah. And then once it was safe to be inside at a distance, we were in the big studio for a couple years.
We just got back into our small studio, like a year ago, if that.
Yeah. The first session we did in there was the last 4, which was great. But that was just in the past year. Small studio sessions holds a large place in my heart because it was my entry into the public media realm. That was the first thing I'd ever done, and in a roundabout way led me to having this job and now working on the sessions. So I appreciate you for keeping it going and for holding the reins for so long. It's a great thing we do here. I hope people appreciate it. I think it's great for the music community. As a musician, it's really cool to have the opportunity to have a high quality video and audio live performance, and it's great. It's a good resource that we're offering bands. So I hope we can keep it up.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a labor of love for sure, and it's nice to look back on it. And it's kind of an interesting time capsule of the last 10 years of our scene. So we hope that folks continue to listen and watch, and that bands continue to work with us, and we'd like to just keep going with your support.
With your support only. That's right. Yeah.
So important. Well, let's listen to our very first session. This is with Indiana-based the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. And, the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band is based here in Indiana, but they are everywhere. They tour across the country, across the world. Right now, they are literally in Europe touring.
Wow.
They're always touring.
It's amazing.
They work so hard, and they're also really, really good. I mean, the Rev is an expert at the guitar. It's mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
So good. Well, let's listen to the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band and their small studio session from 2015 here on Small Studio Signal Boost.
All right, I'm ready, I think. I'm going to try it. Here we go. Woo! Traffic jam and a can of spam. Think things will be better in Birmingham. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Well, I lost my phone, no fault of mine. I can't make a call with a roll of dimes. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Hell no, I'm telling y'all. It's going so good till we hit a wall. Hell no. Hell no, hell slim in Bakersfield. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. The phones are smart, the people are dumb. From the CEO to the corner bum. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Hell no, I'm telling y'all. It's going so good till we hit a wall. Hell no. Hell no, I'm telling y'all. It's going so good till we hit a wall. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Well, I was looking for sun in the lower keys. It's flooding so bad it's past my knees. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. And it's looking bad for this country boy. I found myself in Illinois. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Hell no, I'm telling y'all. It's going so good till we hit a wall. Hell no. Hell no, I'm telling y'all. It's going so good till we hit a wall. Hell no. Hell no, hell no. Some fellas with the work on their clothes come in to have some lunch. They started catching some grief from the table of the wine and cheese bunch. All whispering, thumbing their nose, surrounded by silver and lace. These people wouldn't know hard work if it jumped up and hit him in the face. But you can look down on the hands of the man with the shovel in his hand. But there's one thing that you ought to know. You ought to know. At the end of the day, when the shovel's put away, that dirt'll come away with a little bit of lava soap. Lava soap. But that dirt that's on your hands so soft, that dirt don't wash off. They work their fingernails down to little nubs, hands callous like a catcher's mitt. When you are complaining about the cold, they're outside working and hit. All whispering, thumbing their nose, surrounded by silver and lace. These people wouldn't know hard work if it jumped up and hit them in the face. But you can look down on the hands of the man with the shovel in his hand. But there's one thing that you ought to know. You ought to know. At the end of the day, when the shovel's put away, that dirt'll come away with a little bit of lava soap. Lava soap. But that dirt his hand, but there's one thing that you ought to know. You ought to know. At the end of the day, when the shovel's put away, that turtle come away with a little bit of lava soap. Lava soap. But that dirt that's on your hands so soft, that dirt don't wash off. It don't wash off. It don't wash off. It don't wash off. That dirt that's on your hands so soft, that dirt don't wash off. It don't wash off. It don't wash off. It don't wash off. That was more like it.
That was a listen back to the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band and their small studio session from 2015. That was our very first small studio session, and we're celebrating 10 years of small studio this year here at 90.1 WFYI and small studio signal boost. Keep an eye on the socials for these sessions as we re-release them, and we'll listen and watch them as well.
Yeah, and if you want to watch any of the full sessions, you can go to WFYI.org/small studio. Everything's archived on there. If you just want to listen, you can also listen to just the audio wherever you get your podcasts under Small Studio Sessions.
And thank you to the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band for being our first band of the entire session. We've got to get them back and talk to them and get an update.
Yeah, let's do it.
Soon, yes.
What's happened in the last 10 years? A whole lot.
Yeah, they're playing a ton. We'll find out all about it. Well, what is happening in the world of live music?
Well, next weekend for our friends up in the Lafayette region, June 27th through the 29th, the Indiana Fiddlers Gathering is back to celebrate its 53rd year at the Tippecanoe Battlefield in Battleground, Indiana. The festival will showcase a variety of traditional music genres from Indiana and around the world, including old-time, folk, bluegrass, Celtic, Quebecois, and Scandinavian. In addition to performances, the festival offers a place for musicians to connect, play together, and learn from one another through open stage events, workshops, and impromptu jam sessions. And if you want to know more, our colleague Kyle Long has an interview with one of the festival's organizers, which you can find on the Cultural Manifesto podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or at WFYI.org. And then on Wednesday, July 2nd, you can see the local supergroup Dandelion Blue at the Jazz Kitchen. The group is comprised of Rebecca Kay from Mother the Band and Mina Cohane from just about every band in the city, it seems. Both artists who we've had on this show before, plus Sadie Johnson, Caitlin Ferry, Clara Blackwell, and Colin Oakley. It's a big group of really talented musicians. That's July 2nd at the Jazz Kitchen.
Well, I also have a Rebecca. Blues musician Rebecca Meldrum will be playing an acoustic set with Paul Holdman at Iozo's. That's a nice midweek show, Wednesday, June 25th. And I have another Wednesday show. Shows are popping up this summer. This is the summer series of concerts that we were talking about earlier at Eagle Creek Park. This one, Wednesday, June 25th. It's Squirrel Butter at Eagle Creek Beach at 6:30 p.m.
You think squirrels make butter with acorns? What? Acorn butter?
I want to see that.
Yeah, might be all right.
Sounds like a fun show, 6:30 p.m. And then you'll see the sunset. You can actually rent a watercraft or bring your kayak or boat and watch this performance, Squirrel Butter at Eagle Creek Beach, starting at 6:30 p.m. That's the latest in Indiana music. Be sure to follow your favorite artists on social media for updates and info. This is Small Studio Signal Boost. Adam Gross and Roxana Caldwell created our show. This episode was produced by Adam Gross and me, Melissa Davis. You can check out the podcast edition of the show most places you get your podcasts or at WFYI.org. Thanks for listening tonight, and thanks for your continued support of public media. You can join in membership anytime at WFYI.org/give or at WBAA.org/give. And we are at our last song of the night. Adam, what do we have?
This is a band that Scott mentioned earlier in the show when we were talking about Goshen's Float Fest. South Bend group After Hours is playing a Float Fest pre-party at Goshen Brewing on Wednesday, June 25th. Here's one from their newest record. It's After Hours with Hibiscus. Have a great night.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Indy Softwater. Installing water softeners and reverse osmosis systems for homeowners and businesses in central Indiana for over 25 years. The softest, cleanest water begins with Indy Softwater. More at indysoftwater.com.